So I would say we probably self-perform around 60% and sub out about 40% of it. The bulk of that being electrical. But for the most part, we do a lot in the bulk of the lift.
And what did we peak on site for craft?
300. A lot of local labor, a lot of hands that we carry with us that are from the locals around here. So we're able to staff it with a lot of talent. So these are our battery step-up transformers. You probably have heard of GSUs a lot. That's normally for our generator step-up transformers.
Did we procure these or?
Yes, we did. This is part of the BOS side of the contract. Procurement was all ours on these, and then the PDCs you'll see over there, and then the RO system. Glendale here, they're basically their own island. So they're responsible for all their power generation here on site. All right, let's head on over to the engine room. There's a lot of noise attenuation with this building. You'll see that it's about 14, 16 inches thick. What we have is 3 layers of insulation past the liner panel on the inside, and then we have 7 layers of drywall basically on the outside of that. And then you get your regular pre-engineered metal building skin on it. We're right in the middle of the city. We can't affect any of the noise recipients outside of the generating station.
Did you guys need a noise consultant to help with the design?
There's a big noise design on this project.
What scope do you have left?
We're about 98% complete. So you do have your generators right here. On top of it stacked is your filter house. The generators, ultimately the engine spins the generator pumps out the voltage over to our BSUs, steps up the line voltage up to 69 kV, and then that goes out to the grid. We're looking at 18-cylinder engine. These are very similar to what you see on cruise ships. Cruise ships are geared up to have diesel. These are geared up for liquid natural gas. So they consider these a little bit more green than the rest of the aeroderivative engines because you get a better hydrogen mix. So here you basically have your exhaust, just like your car. Exhaust goes out, gets treated outside through the SCR, and then goes out the stack pretty close to water vapor out here. So in this building, we call the utility building. In all the 3 different rooms is different levels of switchgear. It's the heart of the equipment to keep everything going. In the next room over, we have the air compressors. So air compressors next door, that helps feed the actual Wärtsilä power plant with air, instrument air, as well as compressed air.
And I want to ask you about the safety culture. How have you found that as far as site and trying to drive the behaviors that you desire from the team?
We always say that no business objective is so important that it'll be pursued at the sacrifice of safety. That is huge and paramount with us. The one thing that I tell all my people is the only thing that's not going to change is the safety culture. That's something that we're going to build on year after year after year.
As you're talking about it, it comes across as so authentic, and that is grounded in our values, obviously, so great to hear that.
Now we're standing in the middle of the battery storage. This is the first project that Primoris has undertaken that puts battery storage in a hybrid configuration with the thermal part of the project. 300 megawatt hours from the BESS, 65 megawatts of thermal power from the Wärtsilä engines. There are not a lot of projects like this. I think there's going to be more and more demand for thermal power in hybrid configuration with BESS.
Tim, I love hearing your anecdotes and stories just based on your number of years with the company and the relationships you've formed over time.
We've had a relationship for GWP for literally over 50 years. This project epitomizes and exemplifies that long-term relationship, EPC leadership, cooperation, pushing through lots of challenges, and really getting to predictable outcomes. It's really been an extraordinary story.
It comports with our whole business model and the credibility on the projects, and as we do those jobs safely, on time, under budget, that breeds this type of, the next project with that customer. So Nick, I'm looking at all this earth that we moved. What was here on the site before?
So what we're standing over right now is the footprint of the old boiler building. Boilers 1 and 2 were commissioned and in operation just pre-World War II, 1938. And then they added units 3 and 4 to that. So underneath us is subterranean 3 stories that's been backfilled with dirt. That's what brought us up to grade here. That building was 5 stories in height, and that's what's ultimately been replaced. These are our PDCs for the BESS. That's basically the brains of the BESS over here. That houses all our switchgear. And then over to the right, we have our battery building. This is 480 volt battery, 300 kVA. That's ultimately going to help us with black start on this project. Of our first 2 blocks, our batteries are going to have a minimum SOC level, can't go below 30%. That'll provide us black start for this entire project. It's super important since we are not connected to Cal ISO in this area. They're their own little load block, so they have to soft start, be able to black start if there's any emergency fires or earthquakes or anything of that nature. It'll help get them online with the city and help provide power either to here or help out with Burbank or LADWP.
Okay.
So this over here is our UOC transformer. Not only is it a part of our project, it's a part of keeping all the facilities online for Glendale Water and Power.
Tell me a little bit about the people, the tenure of the leadership we have on site.
We have a really strong team out here, and what I'll say is there's a lot of us that have been working together for 10, 20, some guys 25 years. This project, we have a lot of newer engineers, newer field engineers, newer project engineers, so we've helped bring them into the fold, and now by the end of the project, they are executing just like anybody else would. So it's been really awesome to see people come fresh out of school, come into the construction industry, and be able to perform by the end of a project.
I loved hearing, Nick, about that relationship that they have to draw on and how that drives a better outcome. It's just a great testimony to the teamwork. Nick, thanks so much for giving me the tour. It's been a privilege to be on site. Super exciting to see this in the context of where we can grow as a company, certainly through the next 3-4 years.